Welcome to Discerning News, where we bring you current stories from a bigger picture perspective. The purpose is to inspire clarity and enthusiasm for your unique journey.
Hey, welcome back to Spiritual Perspectives, Discerning News. We're going to do an episode today in the summer series where we talk about a concept we call confusion.
Wait a minute, is that what you're calling? Am I ever confused after watching the news?
Very good, Therese.
My poet, I didn't even know it.
You know, we often think that if I just waited out here on planet Earth and I do all the right stuff, I show up to church and I'm real safe and careful that, when I pass on, it'll all be okay. And the facts are, whatever you're feeling here now, if you were to pass on, that's the state of consciousness you're going to take with you. And so Tiger's going to share a little bit about those states of consciousness, and we're going to share about solutions for experiencing clear direction rather than confusion.
Yeah, especially around what we hear and are seeing on the news 24/7 these days, right? It's not just like the old days where the news would go off in the middle of the night, but now it's constant bombardment mostly of negative news. There's a little bit of positivity going on out there, but mostly it's a negative on and on and on. So how does that influence us in our energy field is an important thing.
Yeah. I think one of the things you were sharing before we got going is making sure I'm living and having what I'm working with as a way of life. You were bringing that up, which is really astute. And if I'm living life based on an idea, then ultimately, and not balancing that with what's happening, right? That's why they say that ideology can be dangerous, not because ideals aren't good, they are. But if I'm trying to curtail life and just the goings on of things, I'm going to be stuck trying to control everything because I'm trying to work with it through the prism of one idea, right? And that's what creates the right and wrongs of the world, right?
Or the different ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox.
That's right. And I think I said this a while back, but it's like there's that old saying. It's like if I don't read the newspaper or watch the news, I'm uninformed. If I do read the newspaper and watch the news, I'm misinformed.
Yeah.
It's like, good Lord, it's so true. But the bottom line is this: my state of consciousness is where I'm going to be, right? Wherever I go, there I am. Meaning, what is there kind of it's a misnomer that somehow if I pass on, I'm just going to suddenly be fixed and go to heaven.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
That's a good way of putting it.
And so I am going to float to the level of my consciousness, my true self. So the sum total of who I am. So we have good days and bad days. So I'm not talking about that. I have to be this, always positive. That's a toxic positivity. And that's not what I'm talking about.
It's fake, Jake.
It's the sum total of where I'm at, right? Because I will have days where I'm going through my challenges and blocks, and there are days where I overcome and I keep going further and I grow, right? But it's the sum total of all that, and that's what rises, that's what lifts. So if I'm stuck, however, if I'm caught in the, you could say the earthy things of life, which are all beautiful and great, but if I get caught in them, maybe I'm caught because I was told that this is right and that's wrong, and therefore I have to behave this way with that one, and I have to behave that way with that one, right? That if I keep doing that long enough, and that becomes my sum total at the end of my lifetime, I'm going to float to that state of awareness. right? If, on the other hand, I have a bigger picture of life, I roll with the punches, I have my ups and downs, but I keep going, that this is the way I live my life, then I'm going to, when I pass on, I'm going to rise to that kind of state of awareness where I am moving forward, right? As opposed to being stuck. So those are different states of consciousness. I'm just giving the rough, there's many different states of awareness and consciousness. But just for our conversation today, if I'm going to make two categories. Let's just start there. Two categories. One of a category of what we'll call, let's say, confusion.
We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
And another category would be limbo, right? Limbo. So these are the two things just to start, where these are the energy or vibration of restriction, the energy and vibration of not moving forward, the energy and vibration of getting caught in things.
Yeah. So the interesting part about this that is stimulating me, especially around discerning news, is the fact that for myself as a very sensitive person, and honestly, being that we're all a soul and a physical body, we all have the capacity to be sensitive and sensitive to picking up energies, picking up what others may be feeling in situations, especially around, tragedy or things that happen. Like the other day we were watching a documentary on Black Hawk Down.
Right.
Wow, what a story. And I mean, I was so immersed in that energy, which was, like you're saying, it was confusion. There was a lot of confusion going on there on both sides.
Yeah.
And I could feel it. And so for myself, in understanding how energy works and how my energy works, is I need to make sure that I'm able to cleanse myself and to stay present and be in a direction that's not the direction of what happened that moment. And so whenever someone sees, and for myself too, sees things over and over on the television or hears about it on the internet or whatever, I can be influenced by the energy, especially with confusion that's going on around those incidences.
Yeah, and the solution for me, as I said earlier, is really clear direction. I have to know what my direction is. And I often, when I watch some of those shows, I can kind of relive it. I can feel what they're going through, and I get insights from my guidance on perspectives of things that happen. And but the solution is always, I've got to be in my feelings. I have to have that balanced state of consciousness. Feel, organize, act. Feel, organize, act. And if I move through life with any fear or hatred, I'm going to attract confusion. So it's a real discipline to go back to, I don't like this, so I'm going to be positive about how I can change it. And well, I'm not in the situation that they're in right now. They were in that situation. There's people around the world right now in different countries like Ukraine or Russia or Gaza,
China,
Israel, China, that are going through those kinds of experiences. I'm not. I live in Iowa. For one reason or another, I'm here now and I'm enjoying the summer morning. And what can I do to be of service and improve my situation and follow through with my opportunities? I have to come back to that. Yeah. And I have to keep with that so that I can just cut through confusion, because in the game of life, they're going to bombard us with it. Because once we're afraid and fearful, we're going to get stuck.
Yep.
And we're going to wait till something, I need to feel secure before I move forward. I need to move forward so I can feel secure.
That's right.
That's how it works for me anyway.
That's right. And so, okay. So here what it comes down to for me is when I lose perspective, when I allow is the operative word, other people to pull my energy down, I am in a state of confusion, right? Or if I feel sorry for myself, if I keep doing that, I will attract that kind of things around me, people to want to work with that, souls that want to work with that. If I'm want to control things and try to manipulate the world around me, there's only a level of what I can control, and that's just me and my thoughts. That's it. So if I get caught in that kind of stuff too much, I will get pulled down, right? And had our different podcasts. We were talking about what happens when I'm trying to discern things, but then I'm coming from that lower perspective. So confusion in life, it's like, okay, so let's keep it simple. If I'm driving and all of a sudden I make a wrong turn, right? Maybe the sign, I didn't see the signs. And so I get off on a different road. All of a sudden, I don't know where I'm at. I'm confused, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's I can keep going down that road and keep bitching and complaining that I'm on this dirt road rather than I've got this nice car. I want to be on the freeway. Or I can just go, okay, great. How do I get back on the road? Right? Figure it out, maybe backtrack, whatever is needed to do it. But that other state is me just keep going on that dirt road and just complaining and fighting the whole way rather than saying, wait a minute, what do I really want?
And the complaining always comes because there's an underlying fear.
That's right.
Or pressure. I'm not going to get there on time. Oh, and then the reaction of people, and and if I try to like stomp that down, that's a valid emotion. I mean, it's okay to feel like that. Oh my God, I've taken the wrong turn. But now I can just relax, bring myself back to my pivot point and re-clarify my direction instead of, I think that's why they say, express your emotions. Emotions are a good thing, but let's get it out and then get back to, solutions in my feelings.
Yeah, but discerning the energies, what's some solutions for that?
For discerning the energies?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
That we're bombarded with, because we're bombarded when we're thinking about the news or what's going on in the world, it's constant.
Yeah. So direction and purpose is essential.
You said that.
It's also essential that I'm not playing the waiting game, right? I have my timing, right? So someone once said, "Oh, don't do anything next week because Mercury is going into retrograde, right? Don't do anything because it'll all get mucked up." And maybe that's true, right? Certainly, I know I've tried to do things when Mercury is in retrograde, and it's always challenging, right? That the phone line gets mixed up. There's something there. But I have my own timing. I have my own energy, and I need to follow through on it and be willing to go up and down. So if I'm working with the environment and all this input that comes to me, and I don't have my own direction and purpose, I'm going to get sucked into different things. I'm going to color the water that I've got. And so the rest of it is making sure that I don't miss my timing, that I play the waiting game, right? The fence sitters, they call it, right? I want to be the fence sitter waiting for the big opportunity to come by. That energy you were talking about, it's like I need to move forward in order that I have the security that I need. I can't wait to be secure and then move forward. Mm-hmm. That is an energy that is tremendous solution for any kind of state of confusion, any kind of challenges. And remember that life is a game. Life is a game. And I say that to you and everyone listening to this. But when I go through my challenges, I don't feel like that. It doesn't feel so great to play the game.
Poo-poo game.
Yeah, that's right. Don't stir it.
I don't want to play anymore.
I don't want to play anymore. Take my marbles and go home. And that is the game, right? That's the confusion. I'm going to take my marbles and go home. When in reality, I'm here with life. This is a tremendous opportunity. You know, we talk about that orientation lecture series. There's one of the presentation. One of the first symbols you'll see is a jumping stick figure, right? And that's there symbolizing that I'm jumping for joy to be here, because it's a tremendous opportunity. If you can imagine, there's souls that haven't organized themselves to be here, right? And have this opportunity. So even the gal or guy on the street who's just, panhandling, they organize themselves to be here.
Yeah, they're successful.
They're successful just for being here. And, we all make it, sometimes further than others, but we're all making it. So that attitude, that altitude is the difference between that kind of earth heavy bound thing or being more free and delightful. And I guess my final part on that is I need to remember that there's nothing free in life. I get out of life what I put into it. And so if I allow something to come in and get me off and think that there's a free lunch somewhere, that's where I'm going to open myself up to problems.
Yeah, and I guess I'll go back to that Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
That was an amazing documentary about confusion and also about taking action.
Yeah.
Because when the helicopter went down, the second one went down, guys back at the base had to come back in.
That's right.
To get them. So they went into action. They didn't sit on the fence and go, well, what the hell do we do now? No, in action. Let's go get the guys. Like, it is a brilliant and very, intense documentary about confusion and not being in limbo and just move in that movement, in that action, in that direction, and making things happen. And this, even of course, a lot of people, got hurt, but it's a really good, interesting documentary around confusion. What do you think, Tom? Because you saw that.
Yeah. So, confusion breeds confusion. And if I want to participate in that cesspool, and that's where I have to be cautious, it's like I can't, if I play with a little bit of confusion and, watch out because it can overtake me, kind of a thing. And so a solution for me is to go, I'm okay right now. I'm here right now. Everything's okay now. So now I'm, that spiritual idea of like, well, live in the present. That's very practical. We're okay now. We've got everything we need. Now, where do we move forward from there? And, it's not like when I get in confusion that I'm sinning or being bad. It's just I'm wasting my own time, or I'm not moving. And that's not even a waste of time. It's good to experience it, to know what you don't want to experience. It's and that, because that can become another trap of, getting stuck and not changing those habits. I think the main thing, is that wherever my state of consciousness is at the time that I pass on, that's what I'm going to be on the other side. There is no big, glorious, there probably is an aspect of that. And I like what Tiger shared. It's not like I'm going to have these days that you'd say go perfectly all the time, but in my total experience, I have a positive outlook towards life. And the more that I maintain that, the better off I'm going to be.
All right. Last words on confusion, Tiger, and discerning.
You bet. So my last words on it is just remembering that, if you're listening to this, you're probably a sensitive person. And when I say sensitive, I don't mean, like you're a flower or something. I'm saying you're sensitive in that you're alert to energy. You're aware of things around you, right? The more personal development work anyone does, they become self-aware. And so in the spiritual side of things, not only become self-aware, but you become aware of feeling, the world of feelings, the world that is unseen, right? That's part of the definition of the word spiritual. Material are the tangible things, spiritual is the intangible. So I have to remember that I'm sensitive to things that are intangible. And we're talking a lot about these things that are intangibles, but yet have an effect. So one is just, it's normal. It's normal for me to feel things that aren't always great. It's okay. But it's also just as normal for me to choose what I want to do with it, which is what you opened with,
Well
right?
said.
I can do what I want with that. So just because I'm not feeling great doesn't mean that I can't change that. And there is no influence, and I think that's using the right word out there. There's not one influence that has power without me.
Whether you are a brand new or returning fan of this podcast, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to the episodes that we create every single week. If you would love to support us by continually creating great content every week, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting us monthly. You can find the buttons below to do all the above. Cheers to you and moving into our 6th year of sharing through podcasting.
And that is the reality, and that is the truth of the situation. No matter what's going in my life, no matter what influence is there, whether it's someone yelling at me or there's this poor little me thing or whatever I'm experiencing, nothing has power without me. I have to give it life in order for it to come in and start working with me that way. And I guess I'll wrap up with a short story. It's in one of our Universal Laws of Abundance tapes, right? It's a real short story. But it talks about this gentleman who is going to go for an interview for a new job,
I like this one.
right? And he's excited. He's like, wow, I've really got this opportunity. It's going to bring my financials up. It's going to be in a place I really love to work. And so he goes down the street to get a haircut because he wants to look good for this job interview, right? And so he goes in and he goes into the place. He's got his chest out. He's feeling exciting. He's ready to go. He's, really good. He's out high energy. And so he goes in there and he walks into the barber shop, and there he finds out that his barber that always cuts his hair is on vacation. And it blows his mind. Like he never even had the thinking that his barber would be on vacation. And then he starts worrying about his hair and how he's going to look at the interview. And he starts worrying about other things, about not getting it. And now his financial is going into question. And now he's like, oh my gosh, what'll happen then? And then my partner, and then my car, and all these 1,000 things go through his head. And he walks out of the barbershop. Oh no, I can't have the haircut. And he goes about his day that way. So that's an example of getting caught up in something where I'm too rigid, or I find a reason not to be successful. I make an excuse to not be successful. And that's confusion, rather than saying, wow, I didn't think of that, but I really want this haircut for the opportunity. I'll take the next barber who's available. Right? It's like, that's a different vibration, right? Like, okay. But my wrap up is, if I walk into a situation where I let myself have the excuse to be confused, I let myself have the excuse to be unsuccessful, then I'm going to attract that kind of vibration. If I use any reason to have fun, if I have any reason to be successful, I'm going to attract that.
Okay, well, anything else you want to say, Tom?
No, I think that sums it up really well.
All right, well, cheers to no confusion in our lives. Cheers to no confusion out in the world.
You're free.
I am my solution.
That's right.
And there you go. Thank you for watching or listening in to another episode of Discerning News. We appreciate you very much. And if you did enjoy this episode in our summer series, please feel free to like, comment below, and also share it with a friend that might enjoy hearing a different perspective that they may not have ever heard before. And until then, remember, next week we'll see you soon. We'll be back. To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you. As the Earth's crust shifts and changes, our lives do the same. One way to maneuver through the small and large moments that shake us to the core is by reviving your connection to spirit, gathering ways to cleanse your energy field, embracing spiritual awarenesses to give you a bigger picture, and knowing that you are not alone on your journey can be a great support. The Soulquake Survival Guidebook is a great companion to meet you where you're at and support reviving your connection to spirit in earth-shaking times. Get your copy today through Amazon worldwide in paperback, ebook, or in audio, and begin embracing more clarity, inner peace, and enthusiasm for your life and what you've come to do.